Old Fashioned Football on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Edge Boost, the bank account built for bettors. Sign up today at edgeboost.bet with promo code SGPN and get a $25 deposit
Hey, what's
bonus.
up? This is Sam Acho, and you're listening to Old Fashioned Football.
Welcome to Old Fashioned Football. If you're wondering who you're listening to, this is JMark. You can find me in the X at JMark Football. And if you're wondering who us is, that's at Old Fashioned FB. And we hope you enjoyed the new intro that we just had if you're watching on YouTube. Before I keep going to talk about some NFL news in this NFL schedule, I got to introduce my co-host on the pod and in life. You can find her on the X at the Mark. How you doing today?
Doing pretty good.
Doing pretty good. Well, that's good. We had the chat popping before we started.
Sure
we were
did.
a little late. We apologize. Partially, that's Kobe Dant's fault of the UFL Gambling Podcast because he was a little late to start that one, which pushed this a little bit back. I've been on podcast after podcast, it feels like. Had CFL Gambling Pod today, the UFL, and now it's time for some old-fashioned football. But Nick wanted to know or let you know that he is making something on the smoker. He's making meatballs and deviled eggs. And
Deviled eggs on the smoker.
Yeah, he's making smoked deviled eggs. And I did comment nice balls when he sent a photo of them. Channing Brown in the chat, who put something a little disturbing.
Mm-hmm.
Do I get shunned for having never tried an old fashioned?
Oh my goodness, what are you waiting for?
You're not shunned.
You're just encouraged.
Yeah, you're encouraged to try it. I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed. And Nick asking, because I did say I was making our old fashions, and then it was a little bit longer. That would be alcohol abuse. New intro is cool. And what up, OFF? Sports Nonsense and Whiskey checking in. NFL season is 100 days away. I don't even know if I asked, how you doing today?
You did ask, and I said I'm doing pretty good. And you're like,
doing pretty good.
You didn't comment on it.
Oh, well.
Are you okay?
Well,
I won't blame you. You have been doing podcast after podcast today. You're fine.
Yeah, I mean, we have NFL news to cover, a little bit of drama going on.
Yep.
As always, it is the NFL. And we're highlighting the NFL schedule. We're highlighting the best games. You picked one game to watch, one game that's a must watch each week. And I picked one that you got to bet. And so I don't know if they overlap. I don't know if the must watch is a must bet. We will find out. I kind of approached it at a different angle, so I'm guessing maybe not, but we'll see. But before we do that, what are we drinking today?
Well, thanks to you and the CFL, we are drinking Swear Jar Canadian Whisky. And it's their 10-year. I don't know if they have more than just a 10-year.
They do.
Okay.
They do have more than just their 10-year. This is their 10-year. Yeah. In celebration of the CFL Gambling Podcast being back, it launched its first episode today. Go check that out with myself and Colby Dant talking CFL futures. Yeah, we're drinking some Canadian whiskey because
we don't do a lot of Canadian whiskey.
We do not. And not that it's bad. I mean, I'm not a Crown Royal fan. I have had some good Canadian whiskeys, though. There is one I still really want to try called Bareface. I want to check that one out.
Yes, you've been talking about that one
before. This one, we'll get into why I picked this one or why we bought it later. But before we get started on anything, there was a little bit of, I guess, I don't want to gloss over this because it happened kind of in between, like right towards the end of our last show. And this one, Jim Irsay passed away. He was the Colts owner and CEO. Now, there's a lot of things that can be said about Jim Irsay. He did fight his demons, same as his dad did. But we're focusing on all the positives here and the guy that, I mean, really made football relevant in Indiana again.
Yeah, I mean, you can credit him for executing the trade to get Hall of Fame running back Eric Dickerson. Like, that was way back in 87.
A long time ago.
So long. Ancient.
Yes. The year I was born.
But, if you want to talk more recently, Irsay drafted Peyton Manning. He drafted Andrew Luck. He made some really good moves for this team. And I mean, he loved Indy football and he made it, more relevant again.
He did. Yeah. So we're wishing the best to him and his family and the Indianapolis Colts organization. You see a lot of stories of players coming out. Marvin Harrison Sr., quite upset over the news recently. And yeah, it's just a unfortunate situation there. So before we keep going, got to let you know that we're brought to you by, of course, Sports Gambling Podcast. And the Sports Gambling guys are going to be ripping packs live on air next Monday night. They'll be breaking a case of Panini Prisms with DAPS, and you can get 10% off your favorite team with promo code SGPN, not Panini Prims, as Colby Dant would say. Just go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/break to get in on the action. Be curious to see if they get any Caleb Williams or some cool Bears cards there.
Poor Colby. Was this just last night? Was this last night? You played his ad read of that over and over.
2 nights ago.
Two nights ago?
Yeah.
No, it was 2 nights ago. It was kind of I had a rough day that day, and you played that over and over, and I was dying. I was just dying, and
it was funny
at Colby's expense.
At Colby's expense, it was funny. Go listen to the UFL recap show if you're not sure what we're talking about, and if you don't want to listen to the whole show, just listen to that ad read at the beginning because it was pretty good.
It's classic.
It was classic. One thing, not only new video, I got some DMs of some people kind of missing the background with the clicker, the little whiskey clicker. So if you're not on YouTube watching, you can see we do have our topics loaded.
Who did this?
And we got the whiskey clicker going.
You just were validated.
Thank you. I'm glad people missed it. It's fun.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, that is a total you thing, which I like the whiskey clicker. I like the whiskey glass moving along. But I'm sure you just felt so happy to see that.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. And Jamie checking in. Hey ladies, how's it going?
Hey,
Jamie. I apologize because I thought I was clicking on another comment right as Jamie commented. So I ended up clicking his. So welcome, Jamie. Welcome. I was going to say Channing said we're both 87 babies. So shout out to Channing in Canada there.
Two ancient people.
Jamie, welcome.
So
we're going to talk about our favorite topic right now. That's not true. Miranda, we're going to talk a little bit about Aaron Rodgers. Speaking of ancient, we're going to talk. Did you see this quote? I have a feeling you didn't. And that's why I'm bringing it up.
Okay.
I want to get your reaction.
I don't know what quote you're referring to.
Yeah. So
well, if it has to do with Aaron Rodgers, I don't know if I've seen it.
Okay. So Aaron Rodgers obviously been doing this little song and dance with the Steelers.
Right.
Legendary quarterback for the Steelers, Terry Bradshaw, weighed in on that and said, Aaron Rodgers, the team's interest in Aaron Rodgers is a joke. Said that guy needs to stay in California, go somewhere and chew on bark and whisper to the gods out there. What do you make of this? A legend like this saying that them going after Rodgers is a joke.
I agree.
100% agree. Yeah.
So, I did not see that he said that. That's pretty funny.
Yeah. Yeah. Nick Fortune in 87. But see, there's ancient people all over, Miranda. Maybe you're just a youngin'.
Not by much.
Not
sure.
by much. That was all I cared to talk about. Aaron Rodgers. So let's move on to the next guy.
Yeah, Stephon Diggs. So a video surfaced, and I'm just not with it. But anyway, video surfaced with Diggs, and I think it was 3 women. And what people are saying is a pink substance.
Yes.
Some are calling it Tusi. I don't even know if this is how you say it. Tusi?
I saw that word too and was not sure.
Which is apparently like a pink cocaine. I clearly don't know my drugs very well, apparently. And do you have the image?
I do have the image. So I tried to blow it up. This is that pink substance. It's got a logo on the package. Are we sure this isn't some I got the really good fishing bait and he was trying to get them to catch fish? Or do your drugs come with logos on the package these days? I mean, it has been at least 38 years since I've purchased cocaine. For those that don't do the math, that's my whole life. I have never, so I don't know how it comes, but I don't. Does this look like drugs to you?
I can't tell. Is it? I can't tell. I have no
It
idea
did-
what I'm looking at.
I don't think anybody could tell. But then there were all these. I mean, he did flash it kind of awkwardly, but I don't know. I think this is just them making a deal over nothing, don't you?
I can't say. I'm not an expert. I don't know.
Do you think drugs are coming with a logo on them like that, especially in the illegal drug like cocaine?
I don't know. Do high-end drugs come with logos? I have no idea.
I'm
Justin.
trying to remember Breaking Bad and if Heisenberg was putting the logo.
He didn't need
on
a
the
logo because
bricks.
it was blue, right?
Well, yeah, but I also think there was a little logo on it or something. Maybe
I
not,
have no
maybe
idea.
not. But if you're in the chat, let us know what you think. Is this
That's really
pink
weird that you
cocaine?
brought up Heisenberg because it was Breaking Bad was brought up at work today. Someone had a Walter White shirt, you know, the Disney, but instead of like it says Walter White.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, somebody had that on one of my calls today.
They were wearing it at work or just on the call, you mean?
On a Teams call.
I guess that's okay.
The remote workforce is pretty relaxed
I
when
guess
you're having
that is
internal
true.
calls.
I guess that's true. My first thought was just like, that doesn't seem like a very appropriate work shirt. But anyways, let us know if you think that's cocaine or fishing bait or what you think it is.
Fishing bait. I don't think it was. What fishing bait is pink?
Wait, bass worms. There's pink ones like that. You
That
can
was
even
not a
get
worm.
pink chartreuse. I couldn't tell what it was. Channing saying that's just powdered sugar to sprinkle on the cut pineapple. It might be. I'm at a loss. However, he's not at OTAs one day after this, you know, and I didn't like that move necessarily for the Patriots and for Drake May because I feel like it's a bit of a distraction that they don't need. Don't you think? Like they don't need the distraction of a hot-headed receiver who seems to become a locker room cancer. Mike Vrabel did speak on it and he said, I'm aware of it, but he wouldn't give much comment on that except that he encourages good behavior on and off the field, basically. Very PC of him. So,
yes.
Speaking of football, we got OTAs going already, and there is some training camp drama happening already. We're going to touch on a couple of these, starting with Jalen Ramsey, who is seeking a trade partner. The Dolphins also want to trade him, it sounds like, but it's in a really awkward state now that the OTAs are starting. It's like, does he show up and put his all in for a team that he knows is going to trade him? And what's going to happen there? So keep an eye on that. Jalen Ramsey, maybe his best days are behind him, but he's still a good cornerback. So that'll be interesting to watch.
Yeah. TJ skipping OTAs. You know.
Yeah.
He wants a new contract.
TJ Watt. Yeah.
And you know, one of the league's best pass rushers when healthy, TJ Watt is skipping the OTAs as he enters the last year of his contract. He's looking for an extension, and because of his health, you can see why the Steelers are hesitant.
Yeah, I mean, he's had trouble staying healthy, and so then you're hesitant to pay him a shitload of money. I get that, but he is also one of the best players, defensive players all around when he's on the field.
Yeah, and then Kirk Cousins, he's also skipping OTAs.
Yeah.
He wants traded as well. He doesn't want to play as a backup quarterback. He wants to start, but it doesn't sound like the Falcons are willing to trade him right now. And I don't know if anybody would take the contract that he has on.
Yeah.
So he may just have to sit behind Michael Penix.
Yeah, I think it was a 3-year, $100 million contract, I believe, all guaranteed. I think that was the details. But you got to think, though, that are the Saints or the Steelers desperate enough? I mean, I would take him over Aaron Rodgers as a GM.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you don't get the drama that Rodgers has.
No.
Kirk Cousins is a locker room guy. I don't know. That's going to be a really interesting one to watch to see if he does get traded somewhere. The other thing, quick injury update. Speaking of the Saints, Jake Haener did get injured. We talked about the three-way battle at quarterback last week that will be happening in New Orleans between Tyler Shuck, Spencer Rattler, and Jake Haener. Well, now Haener got injured in OTAs. It's not a serious thing, but he's not going to be ready until training camp starts, maybe a little bit later, which I do think will set him back in this quarterback battle. Now, I don't think we expected him to win it.
No.
Spencer Rattler did beat him out last year, but it's kind of interesting and unfortunate for him, I guess, if that's one way to look at it. It is unfortunate to him, for him, not to him, for him, both.
For him.
Yeah.
To him, for him.
Saints got to
All of
do.
the
I
above.
mean, I've drafted Tyler Shuck in fantasy football. I think you got to share a Tyler Shuck.
Yeah, I had to get them all.
Yeah, and get them all.
Gotta
Just
catch
get
them all.
get all those Saints quarterbacks. As much as I want him to pan out for the fantasy football dynasty team, you feel like they got to do something different this year. It can't be him unless they're just really going to tank, right?
I guess.
They got to make a play for Kirk Cousins. Of course, same division there, Saints, Falcons. Maybe Falcons are like, no, we're not going to trade anybody to you that could help you. We've seen that happen before. Real quick, before we keep going, I got to let you know that we're brought to you by Edge Boost. Edge Boost is the first ever bank account built for bettors, ensuring all gambling transactions are approved. No usage fees, no minimums, earn cashback rewards, and 100% approval for all betting deposits. Sign up today at edgeboost.bet with promo code SGPN. Deposit $25, and Edge Boost is going to match the deposit. It's free money, people. That's edgeboost.bet, promo code SGPN.
We're also brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Underdog is going live for the NBA playoffs with their extender bonus. Hop in game 1, and the longer the series goes, the bigger the bonus gets. Plus, now is a perfect time to get in on your NFL best ball drafts. Don't forget to follow our socials for UFL bets and CFL bets. Go sign up with promo code OFFSGPN to claim your special pick plus first-time deposit offer of up to $1,000 in bonus credits. That's UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code OFFSGPN.
All right, we are back. Always fresh, never soggy, checking in, saying the must-watch game is Eberflus revenge game. I don't know if Eberflus cared enough to have a revenge game, if I'm being honest with you. But yeah, we're going to jump right into that. Now, these are the NFL schedule came out a week ago, and, you know, there's all the reactions as soon as it comes out. So maybe we're a little bit late. I get that. No, just kidding. We wanted to kind of go through this, and rather than go through like every single game or whatever, you want to look at like, what's a game I should be watching and what's a game I should be betting. So now one of the things here is it's hard because we never know what injuries are going to happen, right? We never know what injuries are going to happen. There are some interesting takeaways, such as the Falcons have 5 primetime games. So that's interesting. And, you know, it's, yeah, let's just get into this. You're going to pick a must-watch game.
Yes.
I'm going to pick a must-bet game. Now, we're Bears fans. We can't pick the Bears every time.
But we can pick them sometimes.
We can pick them sometimes, yeah. Sometimes I think is appropriate because they should be better. It should be exciting. But yeah, without further ado, let's just start. Did I just say without further ado? Am I dating? Does that make me sound really old?
Ancient.
Let's just start with the week 1. What do you have for your must-watch game?
So there are some good matchups in week 1, like the opener of Eagles versus Cowboys.
Speaking of cereal.
Yep. And we'll have to see if the Eagles have, a Super Bowl hangover. The Chiefs and Chargers play on Friday. That'll be really good. We have other good division rival games. You have the Bucks versus Falcons. That could be important right away. The same with Detroit and Green Bay, Vikings versus Bears. But I'm circling the Sunday night game, which is the Ravens versus the Bills.
Yeah.
And can Josh Allen and the Bills start the season right away with a big win over the Ravens? It is in Buffalo. This is going to be, in my opinion, the best game of the week.
Yeah, no, that should be a great game. Absolutely. And it's going to set the tone right either way for either of those powerhouse teams. I would say a runner-up game, Pittsburgh at Jets, Justin Fields revenge game a little bit, maybe. I already gave out my bet for week 1. It's the Bears versus the Vikings. You can get the Bears at -1.5. I just think that they're going to be fired up. the Caleb Williams story coming out that he wanted to play for the Vikings, blah, blah, blah. I think Ben Johnson's going to have this unit ready to play.
All right, moving to week 2.
Yeah,
Ready?
let's do
We're just
week
gonna.
2.
There's a lot to get through here. So
Yeah.
in week 2, we jump right into a Super Bowl rematch: Eagles versus Chiefs.
Oh, that's right away in week 2.
Week 2.
I missed that.
And then that's in Kansas City.
Okay.
The Chiefs are gonna want revenge on the
Yeah.
Eagles. I feel like this is the best game of the week, and I have no idea why they put it as the 3:25 game
It's not a night
and not
game?
a night game.
Oh, wow. That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Why wouldn't that be a primetime game?
I would think that you'd want that to be at night.
Yeah, you would think so.
Mhm.
I do want to check in with the chat real quick. Jamie checking in. Took Roshan Johnson in a best ball draft today. Is Roshan's career done? I know you're a Roshan believer. I am not, but maybe Ben Johnson rejuvenates his career. And then always fresh, never soggy. Serial checking in saying, going to be nice to ruin the banner raising for the Philly Trash Pigeons as the Cowboys are winning. He is predicting. And what happens first? Buffalo loses or the Giants win? Interesting you say that. I have an article that came out where I'm taking the Giants as the last team to win a game at plus 550. So that's an interesting one. Speaking of bets, let's my week 2 bet: the Commanders currently 1.5-point dogs against the Packers. Commanders are winning that game. All the fire that came with them and Jaden Daniels last year. I'm taking them on the money line at plus 105. And in fact, I'm doing a parlay already.
Oh boy.
I love my parlays.
Which one isn't hitting?
Right. Commanders, Patriots, Seahawks are all money line dogs in week 2. Parlay them together for about an 8.5 to 1.
Okay.
Can't believe you're going to jinx me already. Of saying
Sorry,
one won't
it happens. It just happens.
And you can find these lines out. I'm not just making them up. You can find them out and bet them already. It's scary to bet like week 14 because you don't know what injuries will be there, but you can do it.
Yeah. All right. I don't mean to pick like Eagles games back to back, but in week 3, Rams at Philly. This one is going to be a really good game. Last year in the playoffs, the Rams pushed the Eagles to the very end. And even though it's only week 3, I feel like this is an important game for playoff seeding because if you're either team, you want to have the game advantage over the other team.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I believe the game ended 28-22 or something like that. The Eagles won. Speaking of 22, we talked about the tush push vote last week. It did not get pushed through, so you can still tush push, but the Eagles beat the Packers 22-10. The vote won 22-10 from what I read. So kind of interesting. And now you can bet on the sports books that when they play that the score will be 22-10. So it's like 50 to 1. My week 3 bet. My favorite one right now is the Bengals plus 1.5 against the Vikings. I know the Bengals normally kind of start the season slow, but by week 3, I think they're going to have their shit together. And I know it's in Minnesota, but JJ McCarthy, he's basically a rookie. I know last year was his rookie year. He never played though. So why is he catching points against a quarterback like Joe Burrow? That doesn't make a lot of sense to me. He should not be favored over him. Take the Bengals, the plus 1.5. Take them on the money line too. They're going to win.
All right.
Finding your value already.
For week 4, this week, I mean, like I feel like you have to circle the Ravens versus the
Let me get
Ravens and Chiefs game.
Oh yeah.
I also I'm looking at this and I'm thinking like, why are the Chiefs getting all these tough games at home?
Yeah, because they had Eagles at home. Now Ravens at home.
Yeah, like are we trying not
rigged.
to get them there?
It's rigged.
But I feel like that's interesting already. But that will be a really good game. And again, just like the game I talked about in week 3, it's early, but this has, in my opinion, playoff impact.
Yeah, 100%.
And it's a difficult matchup.
Yeah, even though it's week 4, I almost said 3. We're on 4 now, right?
Yeah, we're on 4.
Even though it's week 4, I mean, every win matters, especially against somebody will likely be in the playoffs. So yeah, absolutely. I'm looking at the Eagles and Bucks game. The Bucks are one of the few teams, maybe only, that the Eagles kind of struggle with. They did stop the tush push after the tush push vote got denied. They showed a picture of their defensive line and said, "We're ready." I love the Bucks. They're kind of like a second team almost because of Baker. He's a dog. They beat the Eagles outright last year. They shut down the tush push, and they're 1.5-point dogs right now. Another 1.5-point dog. Apparently, I liked those as I was making my notes. Yeah, give me the Bucks to win that game. Catch them by surprise.
All right, week 5, I feel like is a bit of like a stinker, not just because the Bears are on a bye.
A week 5 bye. I'm glad you brought that up. I don't like that. A bye that early. Like you need a bye either mid or end.
Somebody's got to have the early buys.
I know, but why is it got to be the Bears?
Well, it's just our luck this year.
I guess.
I was going to pick 49ers versus Rams, but instead I'm going to go with the Giants and the Saints because both of these teams are, I feel like, are likely going to be struggling. And Justin, I did see your article. You think these two teams will be winless?
Yeah. You got 0-4 versus 0-4 here.
Which is, I feel like, ballsy. Fine. They're going to be winless. And if that happens, one of these teams is going to get their first win. The Giants, you might have influenced me here.
Yeah. Well, the Saints, I don't think are going to be very good this year.
I know.
The Giants, even if they are good, they have a brutal schedule to start. So that's why I think they're going to be winless.
Both of them.
Yeah. This will be a fun game.
So being like two not very good teams, like, that can sometimes become a good game.
Yeah. I mean,
and
all's on the table. You got to try to get a win. And now you have a team that hasn't won any games, potentially, in my mind. I agree with that. I'm going to circle the game you started to talk about, the Niners and the Rams.
Okay.
I've been vocal about my doubts about the Niners. Sorry, Nick Fortune, for this year. And I think the Rams are going to win the division. They're 1.5-point favorites. I think that they beat them by more than 1.5. I think it's an easy win. Easy. Make some easy money. Serial wanting to say side bet on our week 3 match. Let's make sure everybody's healthy first before I agree to a bet. I don't want to take Tyler Special Agent Bajan in a bet. So let's pump the brakes on that one.
Oh boy.
What week are we on now?
6.
6. Okay.
6.
Perfect.
I hope so because I'm going to 6.
Because week 5 was the bye.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. We obviously aren't picking the Bears every week, but I am for this one. This is a Monday Night Football, Bears at Commanders. The last 2 years, these games have actually been really good.
They have.
And remember, the Bears were winning and should have won up until the Hail Mary last year, which kind of started catapulting the Commanders to a win streak.
It did, yeah. No, I think if you look at their season, you can circle. That's the point where they started their ascending. Yeah.
Yeah. So I kind of have this as like a revenge game for the Bears.
Yes, I like it. I like it a lot.
We gotta crush them.
Yes. Well, we're seeing eye to eye there because the Bears are 4.5-point favorites in that game, and they're going. This is going to be, in my opinion, I was going to say they're going to win, but I won't say that. I'm just going to say this will be a 3-point game either way. I think that we saw last year they had to have the last second Hail Mary to beat us. We play each other close. I think it's a 3-point game either way. So if you can get 4.5 with the Bears now, I say you take that because I think this will be closer to a 2.5, 3-point spread when we get to week 6. So yeah,
all right.
We picked one of the same. It's our first one. Only took 6 weeks for us to agree on something.
Well, it's taken longer in the past.
Fair enough.
All right. Week 7, right? We're at 7. Got to keep track here. This one is for Cody Zeeb of the NASCAR Gambling Podcast. I won't say his new nickname. He
has a new nickname? What is it?
He has a new nickname. Poor Cody. Anyway, I did not. You told me to text and taunt him, and I did not do that. So
you're just too kind.
Patriots at Titans. Patriots head coach Mike Vrabel's return to Tennessee. This is a revenge game. Sometimes those coaching return revenge games can be the best to watch.
Yeah, no,
So
absolutely.
I picked that one for week 7.
Yeah, and he's got history with both teams.
Mhm.
And just something I was thinking of. I did kind of diss Matt Eberflus at the beginning when Serial brought it up, but I do want to say I was very supportive of Eberflus as the coach, and he's back as being the defensive coordinator. And the reason that Serial's circling that is because it's for the Cowboys. I think that's where he belongs as a defensive coordinator.
Mhm.
He's a great defensive coordinator. My week 7 bet, I'm going to go Raiders versus the Chiefs. Sorry, I'm a little all over the place. I know.
A little bit.
I know the Chiefs are one of these pinnacle teams in the NFL, and the Raiders are the Raiders.
Mhm.
But they got new head coach Pete Carroll, and he's used to these rivalry situations. And the Raiders, they kind of feel like that little annoying brother now and then who they don't beat the Chiefs, but they make them sweat. They're 9.5-point dogs. I think that's too many points, especially when Ashton Genty is running all over this Chiefs defense. So give me the Raiders plus 9.5. Sign me up. I already bet this one, actually.
Okay.
Just so you know, just a little confession, honey.
A little
I
confession.
already bet this one.
All right. Week 8. I just decided to throw this one out there. This may most likely not be the game to watch.
Now I'm intrigued. Okay.
But as we wait on Rodgers, who really should just go retire, get out of here. But
And chew on some tree bark and talk to the gods or whatever.
Yeah.
Bradshaw said.
If he signs with the Steelers, then in week 8, the Sunday night game, we get the Packers at Steelers.
Mhm.
So this is like I don't know if you want to call it a Rodgers revenge game. I clearly go for the drama in the games and
Yeah.
there's so much at stake here, or there's a lot of animosity.
Yeah.
But Steelers revenge game against the Packers. Again, this is if he signs. With the schedule makers putting this game on Sunday night, it makes it feel like they think he could be playing. Like they made it the Sunday night game.
Right. So what?
But again, they didn't make. I don't know. We'll just see.
It's hard to know what they're doing.
Yes.
They have the pink substance that Stephon
Otherwise, I
Diggs
just don't
has.
see that Steelers and Packers. I don't see it being a primetime game.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree with that. Yeah, I was trying to think. So he was with the Jets one year and he tore his Achilles. And then last year was his second year with them, and they did not play the Packers, I don't believe. So he has not played his old team.
No.
So that is definitely interesting. Just I want to check in with the chat real quick here because Jamie says new coaching Pete Carroll, you me almost on his deathbed old ass coach. Yeah, but that's what Jamie said. Yeah, but I think his return to the NFL, he's got something to prove. He is old, but he's got the energy. I mean, you saw him with the Seahawks with his shirt off with DK Metcalf. This is a hip old man, and I love the Ashton Genty signing because Pete Carroll loves to run the shit out of the ball, and that's what you can do with Ashton Genty. The Raiders are interesting. They're still going to be the worst team in that division, but it's a really strong division. So that's not saying a whole lot. For week 8, my bet, the Bills play the Panthers. Don't get me wrong. I do think the Panthers could be better this year. I think they made a lot of good moves, especially on defense. This will all come down to what Bryce Young can do. Can he not be terrible? But that's a big if. Right. That's a big if. Maybe it'll be Andy Dalton. I don't know. But the Bills are only a touchdown favorite to the Panthers. Get the fuck out of here. The Bills are going to destroy these guys. We need to timestamp this because I feel like it's going to be like 34-13. So in week 8, we need to go back and see if I was close on that. As long as Josh Allen is healthy, this game will be 34-13. That's another, speaking of the Bills, I forgot to mention this, but James Cook also looking for a new deal from Buffalo. And so we'll see if that leads to any drama. I can't imagine him holding out, but you never know with these guys.
All right. Week 9.
Week 9.
So I feel like this one is an easy one. We get the Chiefs at Bills. Finally, a tough road game for the Chiefs.
Yeah.
These games are always electric. And the Bills won last year against the Chiefs. Can they do it again, or are the Chiefs looking for revenge?
See, I almost hope the Chiefs win this game so that then when they play each other in the playoffs, it's like set up for the Bills to win it, you know? So I don't know. Clayton Adams revenge game, Serial saying, here's a good one to bet. I hate to say it, but here's a good one to bet. Bears at Bengals. Bengals are only 3-point favorites. With the Bears building up their team, they should be moving this way, stock up. But the Bengals, I feel like, are in win now. I mean, they just paid their wide receivers. They haven't paid Trey, son of Hendrick. And so I feel like they need to win now. It doesn't seem like enough points for the Bengals. I think I've got to take the Bengals -3. Don't hate me, Bears fans. Sometimes you got to pick against your team when you're betting. You can't bet with your heart every time. It ends in heartbreak. Trust me, I know.
Oh boy. All right, week 10. The two NFC playoff teams that have recently started winning more in the past few years, are the Lions and the Commanders. And these two teams play each other. I think they'll be in Washington. I think they play in Washington.
Yeah.
And
I think that's right.
They play each other well. And I'm with both hoping to make the playoffs again. I feel like this one is going to be a really good game to watch.
Yeah. High scoring affair, probably.
I think so. It'll be a really good game between the two of them.
Yeah. This is an interesting one. I kind of already talked about the Vikings and them not being favored over the Bengals. They're getting a lot of respect from the books because they play the Ravens in week 10, and the Ravens are only 3.5-point favorites. I don't have that much faith in JJ McCarthy. I don't think he can keep up with Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry. I know Kevin O'Connell is a great coach. I think the Vikings have a great coach. Don't get me wrong, but I think the Ravens win this game easily, just easily. Before we keep going, we need to take a slight pause, and I gotta let you know that we are brought to you by Rhythm. Our job at SGPN is to help you find the best picks, and now we've got a new tool that takes things to a whole new level. You've heard us talk about Rhythm before. They just dropped a new game-changing feature called Power Trends. These are AI-detected patterns where Rhythm's model has consistently won and has a high return of interest. Think about like a strikeout prop that wins 59% of the time when the line and win probably hit a certain range. Power Trends are updated daily and exclusive to Rhythm. No touts, no noise, just clean, data-backed bets. Download the Rhythm app, check out Power Trends, and start betting smarter. You know we will be. Get your 7-day free trial today at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. We're also brought to you by the Circa Ultimate Fantasy Football Giveaway. Circa Resort and Casino in Las Vegas is giving the ultimate fantasy football experience for a 12-person league to draft in Vegas and be treated like VIPs for their stay. The winner is going to get a 2-night stay at Circa Resort and Casino for their entire 12-person league. Now, it is 6 double king rooms, so you got to buddy up. But that's okay, because you also get to hold your draft at a cabana at the Stadium Swim. If you're on YouTube, you can see the photo of the Stadium Swim right there. It is beautiful. And you get a $5,000 food and beverage credit. $5,000 for 12 people. That's a lot of money. You get limo transportation to and from the airport, a welcome party at the Legacy Club for the league, a reservation at the world's largest sports book with a $500 beverage credit for the league. You guys are going to be locked on a rooftop by the end of this thing. You get a 2-hour open bar package for the league at the Overhang Bar. That's a lot of booze. You can get a lot of whiskey for that money. The contest duration is May 5th through June 30th. So you got about one more month to do it. Just go to enter sportsgamblingpodcast.com/circa. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/CIRCA and have your whole league enter. That's 12 chances to win. What are you doing? Get over there today. We're also brought to you by mybookie.ag. I'm not going to do the song that CJ Sullivan does because I know I won't do it as well, but MyBookie is your place to bet on every sport, including the NBA playoffs. For the true degens, the MyBookie money bag. That's where you just spin a wheel and it gives you a random future That's a lot of fun. I mean, you got to get in there just for that. MyBookie accepts customers from a ton of locations, and I believe even Canada, Channing. So it's easy deposit. There's lightning fast payouts using crypto. Get your Dogecoin ready. And yeah, head over to mybookie.ag, promo code SGPN for 100% deposit match up to $1,000. Terms and conditions apply, of course. That's mybookie.ag, promo code SGPN. All right. Shall we continue in our schedule for one game that you must watch,
Well,
one game you must bet,
I
and
want to go back to the circa again.
okay. All right, go back to the circa.
Every time you do this one, I was thinking, because like last week we talked about the listener leagues.
Yeah.
Doing it. Why don't we do every single league we're in?
Yeah.
And sign up.
Everybody sign up. Why not?
Everyone.
Yeah.
Every league, like all 15 to 20 of them. Sign up. And every person in it. It'll up our odds.
I mean, it's free. The thing is, it's free to sign up.
Mhm.
So all you got to do if you win is be able to make it.
Yeah.
So you can figure that out. If you win that much free shit, you can figure out how to make it to Vegas. I mean, aren't flights to Vegas cheap from everywhere?
I think so. Pretty much.
Yeah, you can.
They're like begging you to fly there.
They are. Checking in with the chat real quick. Serial saying we're not giving enough love to the Cowboys. We talked about them last week. We'll see how they do with their new wide receiver.
Mhm.
Every other NFC East team gets a game to watch, but the Cowboys feels like we're just waiting to open that present later. That's fine. That's fine. Channing wanted to know how much are nachos there if you get $5,000 to spend. I agree. 100% agree. And Jamie saying MyBookie uses offshore accounts, so anybody around the world can use it. So get in there, do the little random money bag wheel. You just go to NFL, you pick NFL futures, you press the money bag, and it spits you out a random future. So that's just fun to see what you get, like for $1 bets, even just like, let's see what I get for $1 and do it over and over and over again. And pretty soon you're in debt, but it's okay because you can use your Edge Boost card. So it's fine.
Yes. Yes.
Don't forget, we're going to talk about the rest of the schedule. We do have a Canadian whiskey review, Swear Jar. We're going to get to that as well.
Swear jar.
But yeah, fuck.
Stop it.
Let's continue.
Week 11. Moving on. Week 11. And I apologize. I'm not.
Why would you do?
What?
What'd you do? Why are you apologizing?
Not to pick 2 Lions games in a row, but
filthy, dirty Lions.
I'm gonna Eagles versus. What did I do? What do you think I did?
I don't know. You said I apologize.
Eagles versus Lions. It's in Philly on Sunday night for week 11.
Yeah.
This is 2 of the top NFC teams last year, so this should be a really good game. And if the Commanders beat the Lions in week 10, this is a tough stretch for them to now have to play Philly on the road and risk losing potentially back-to-back games.
And cede the division to the Bears. Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. Well, I apologize because I don't mean to pick on the 49ers, but I'm going to pick on them again. Sorry, Nick Fortune. He's probably tuned out by this point. Or since the wife is having a dinner with her work people, he's probably drunk as a skunk and can't find the volume. I don't know. Enjoying his balls and deviled eggs.
Stop.
Why he was smoking meatballs.
Okay, never mind.
What did you think, you pervert? What's he doing with
nothing.
Deviled eggs in his balls?
Continue. I was nothing. The comments earlier in the chat were I forgot he was doing meatballs. Okay, enough.
Oh, you thought he was at home. Never mind.
Enough.
I tell you what. The 49ers play the Cardinals. Cardinals are 1.5 point dogs. Give me plus 100 on the money line. I don't need that 1.5 points for the Cardinals to win straight up in Arizona. I think the Cardinals are going to be better than people think this year, and the Niners are going to be worse. I'm just throwing that out there. And Jamie saying, shit, we need to pay for swearing. Fuck that. Even the chat. Yeah, just wait till the whiskey review to see this bottle. You absolutely do. And Serial wanted to know, did you become an Eagles fan in the offseason? Negative. You just like the storylines of everybody wants to.
I told you I was going for the drama or the very the intense games where it matters. Like it's important. Yeah. And the Eagles are good. So it's gonna.
And everybody wants to take down the Super Bowl champ. Right. So yeah, I get it.
So some of those games, sorry, people.
She was rooting for the Chiefs, to be fair, in the Super Bowl.
I was.
Yes, I at the family Super Bowl watch party. I started as one of only 3 Eagles fans, but I quickly converted the niece and nephews. So
Yeah, and
nephew and nieces.
so much so that sometimes I forget we did not get the three-peat. I think I just mentioned
What do you mean we?
the three-peat a couple weeks ago. I was like, oh wait, that didn't happen.
No, it did not happen. In fact, at one time it was a complete blowout before the Chiefs did put up some points.
It was horrible. Let's just call it what awesome. It was. It was horrible.
Not for Cowboys fans. Sorry, Serial. But anyways.
Week 12?
Yeah, week 12.
There aren't a lot of games that jump out to me in week 12. So I'm going to go with 2 historic franchises. Steelers at Bears.
He's picking the Bears again. I love it.
I'm going to pick the Bears. The Bears are a must-watch game every week for me.
Yeah.
So
I like it.
But perhaps plot twist. Perhaps this is like not going to happen. I hope it doesn't happen. A Rodgers versus Bears game.
Oh, yeah.
So they have obviously had trouble beating him, but maybe in a Steelers uniform, we crush him.
Yeah. One can only hope. Right?
It would be so bad if Rodgers goes to the Steelers and the Steelers beat the Bears.
Yes.
Well, like, can you? He says he still owns us.
Yeah, and he mentioned on a recent podcast that one of the teams he's been in talks with in the NFC apparently plays the Bears this year, because they asked him, would you ever play?
Shut up, Rodgers.
I know. They asked, would you ever play for the Bears? Which is a stupid fucking question, because they have Caleb Williams. Why would we need Aaron Rodgers?
We don't need him.
We don't need old balls. But he's like, I would not play for the Bears, but the team I'm talking to plays them. It's like, oh, whatever. Serial pointing out the Cowboys versus Eagles, big rivalry, but not must-watch games. It is a must-bet, though. That is my game for week 12. Eagles versus Cowboys, but you're not going to like why, because I think Dak Prescott by this time will be benched, because I think he's going to struggle. I'm so sorry, Serial. Eagles are only getting 4.5 points. They're a far better team, and I think at least a touchdown better. I know it's in Dallas, so maybe you can make a case for Dallas in the chat, Serial, but give me the Eagles minus 4.5 right now for week 12. I do apologize.
He is never coming back.
Please don't leave our podcasts.
Week 13. I'm going to go ahead and just say, like, week 13, this is Thanksgiving week.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say all the Thanksgiving Black Friday games are a must watch. So we've got the Packers at Lions, Chiefs at Cowboys.
While I'm in a hole with Serial and he's probably muted me, that's a good time to have your dinner. I actually think I like the Cowboys in that game, but anyways, go on.
Bengals at Ravens. And Black Friday, we've got the Bears at Eagles.
Ooh, I don't like that.
I don't like that one either.
No.
But yeah, I think all of these, like, watch them.
Yeah,
it's a good
spend time
week
with your
of
family.
games.
Watch football. No. I agree. Nick Fortune wanted to know, what are you going to do when Rodgers isn't in the league anymore? I'm going to celebrate.
There's still going to be Rodgers drama. He makes himself.
Yeah.
He makes himself get in the media.
He'll be on Pat McAfee's show every fucking week, and we'll still have to hear about him.
It would be awful if he becomes like an announcer or something. And then you can't,
I don't know,
but then you can't get away from him.
Oh, man. I would hope that somebody like Tony Romo would punch him in the face.
That would be
entertaining.
Yeah.
Jamie saying Browns win 2 games this year, only 2. One versus the Steelers, one versus the Titans. So that's interesting. And then Serial saying that that's about as bad as my Michael Pittman, better than CD Lamb take last year. That was a terrible take. I will admit that. But sometimes you gotta be bold. I'm going to stay away from those holiday games you mentioned, because who knows how teams' minds are going to be. I mean, it's all primetime games on holidays, right? Mm-hmm. So maybe they're going to bring their all, and maybe there's going to be big dog upsets. You never know what way they're going to go. So I'm going to pick a gross game, and that's the Rams versus the Panthers. Rams not getting a lot of respect here, and I'm big on the Rams this year. They're only 3.5-point favorites. That's dumb, because they're going to win this game easily, despite, I get it's a long road trip to Carolina, especially when your bellies are full of turkey. I get it. But Matt Stafford, this might be his last dance. And so I think they're going to give their all.
He's getting up there.
He is. And I think they're going to give their all. And they're going to win this
He's
division.
more ancient than being born in 87. Right?
Is he though? Let's check.
I hope so.
You talk about we're on week 14 now, and
Okay.
I'll look up Matt Stafford's age.
All right, you do that. So week 14.
He was born in 88.
Oh shit.
He's a year younger than me and Channing and Mr. Fortune. So he's
still
not
older than
ancient.
me. We're fine. Sorry. I thought he was pushing 40.
He's football old, right?
He's football old, but I thought he was pushing 40.
Apparently not. I
Apparently
thought he was
not.
old too, but
Oops. Sorry. My bad.
thanks.
Sorry, honey. Week 14. Let's get back to week 14.
Yeah.
And I feel like this might surprise you, but I want to see Titans versus Browns.
That's what Sarah was just talking about. Or Jamie. Sorry. Jamie was talking about.
With it being week 14, I feel like we very well could be seeing Cam Ward, who's locked in as a starter for the Titans, versus Shedeur. I always say his name wrong. Shedeur.
You can say shooter, but Shedeur.
You got me because you said that Deion Sanders has a son named Shooter and Shedeur.
Which is wrong.
I know. I was like, are you confusing it? So now, I always second guess myself when I say
Shedeur.
Shedeur.
He's not a shedonter. He's a Shedeur.
A Shedeur. But yeah, Shooter and anyway, no, his other son's name who got drafted, I can't even remember his name now.
Yeah, I don't remember off the top of my head.
He went to Tampa.
The less important Sanders.
Yeah, he was like ranked 3 of his.
Yeah, the third ranked son.
Third ranked son. Okay. Anyway, sorry for the tangent. So yeah, we might see Cam Ward and versus Shedeur Sanders, who isn't locked in, but at this point of the season.
Yeah. Especially if they haven't won many games like Jamie was predicting.
Yeah, so I feel like these guys could have kind of like a pre-draft rivalry going on. That's kind of a take.
Yeah, they did. They snipped at each other a little. Well, if we're being honest, Shedeur was more of the talker, and Cam Ward was like, "Whatever, dude. I know I'm gonna be."
But he could be like waving his. Didn't we say it was a $350,000 watch?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Yes. She likes to air dick on this show. Anytime we talk about watches. I almost
did that again. I stopped myself.
Did you? You consciously thought about?
I was like, nope. And pull it back.
Must game watch week 14. Caleb Williams and the Bears go to Lambeau Field, or must bet. Sorry. Take the Bears plus 3.5. Take the Bears. We do. Take the Bears on the money line because you know what? Caleb Williams undefeated at Lambeau Field. Daddy's home. Let's go.
All right. Daddy's home.
Daddy's home.
Week 14.
Daddy Caleb with his painted nails. And that's okay. That's all right. Jamie calls them Shitter Sanders. And then
I like that. I can get behind that.
And then we had a couple. We had Solo Sanders, Shiloh Sanders, and Silo.
It's Shiloh.
Sanders.
No. Yes, Shiloh. I think that's
Spencer Sanders may be playing for the DC Defenders this weekend after they take Mike.
That's
DeLillo
the third
out.
one?
No, I don't think he's
okay. I was like, I don't think that's right.
no, but that's their backup quarterback.
But I guess if they were all named start with us.
Maybe it is.
Google it. What is his third son's name?
Yeah. The dog is done with our podcast.
She's got to calm down. Week 15. We're pushing through. We've got a couple more weeks. Week 15. I'm going to circle the Thursday night game this week. Falcons at Bucks. I think these two teams will be fighting to win the NFC South division, which should make this a very competitive game. Obviously, they play each other twice a year, but this late in the season, it could be an intense game. The outcome could impact a lot for them.
Yeah. Absolutely. I can't believe that I'm going to say this is the must bet game, but we've got Panthers at Saints. Panthers are 1.5 point favorites, and I think the Saints might be one of the worst teams in the league this year, at least record wise. So I'm placing my money on the Panthers. His kids are Shedeur, Shiloh, Deion Jr., which
Junior. I forgot it was Junior.
Interesting that Junior's not number one.
He's not but isn't he number 2? Because Shiloh's number 3.
Yeah,
this is Shedeur, almost
Deion, Shiloh.
Oh, this is worse, I guess. But I was gonna say it's almost as bad, but it's actually worse than the Mahomes kids. Bronze, sterling, and golden.
but golden was
But golden was number 3. But
yeah.
so never mind. Because it was sterling first, then bronze,
yeah, and
then
now golden.
Golden.
He also has 2 daughters, Deandra and Shalomi. I do not know if he ranks them.
Shalomi. Is that how you say that?
I have no idea. It's she and then Lomi. Shalomi.
I don't think it's Shalomi.
Salami.
No.
I don't know.
But this is getting bad. Stop.
Let's move to week 16.
Week
we got
16.
3 weeks left.
Week 16, we have a Saturday game, and I feel like it's not hard to pick this one. This is Packers versus Bears. I really did try to limit how many times I picked Bears games here.
I think this is 3.
It is 3. This could impact the playoffs as well, and it's just Packers and Bears. It's a great rivalry. It's enough said.
Yeah.
You knew, like, people listening to us had to know the Bears-Packers game was gonna end up in this list.
Yeah, it's on your must-watch then at Chicago. It's on my must-bet at Lambeau. Another rivalry game, sort of. Same division anyways. Bucks-Panthers.
Okay.
Bucks only 3.5-point favorites. This is a playoff team. They're going to be trying to get that number 1 seed. You got to smash the Bucks here. And then interesting question from Serial. More yards this season, Jadon Blue or Cam Scatterbo? I think it's Jadon Blue because I do believe he's going to be the starter. I think Cam Scatterbo, which I've heard it's Scatterbo. Colby said Scatterbo. People gave him shit for it, but I'm going to go with Colby. Nobody watches more college football than that guy.
This is true.
So I'm going to go with his pronunciation.
And
but anyways,
he knows all names.
Yeah, I think Cam is going to get shared backfield with Tyrone Tracy, and I think he's going to be utilized more in the passing game actually. So I like Jadon Blue to lead in that matchup. See if you can find that on Underdog Fantasy because they do the matchups to see who would have more yards. That would be a good one because I'm very confident in Blue there.
All right. Week 17. This is Christmas.
Yeah.
Christmas
so
week.
Again, a great opportunity to avoid your family and watch football.
There's 3 Christmas games, but I'm going to go for like what could be a Super Bowl preview. Sorry, I'm picking Eagles again. Eagles at Bills
she is
on
Eagles
Sunday
fan.
the 28th. Maybe I needed to, after I put these together, I should have looked to see how many.
Checked, yeah.
But no, I stand by what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So this
should both be playoff
Eagles
teams.
at Bills on Sunday the 28th.
Yeah.
And I think that this should be a really good game. Both of these teams are going to be prepping for the playoffs.
Yeah, 100% agree. I actually already have you can pick an exacta Super Bowl result. I have Bills beating the Eagles, so I have that as my Super Bowl matchup. December 28th, after Christmas, the Ravens play the Packers. Get out of here with the Ravens only being 1.5-point favorites. They're at least a field goal better than those Green Bay bums. Take the Ravens in the -1.5, and of course, take the Bears to beat the Niners. They're +3.5 dogs right now. That's dumb.
Right.
Last
week.
Yeah.
Get out of here. Week 18. This is hard to gauge, but I'm going to go with Chargers versus Broncos. Both of these teams played really well last year with the Chiefs, Chargers, Broncos, maybe not as much for the Raiders. But this is a really tough division, and it's possible that the team that wins this game gets into the playoffs as a wild card.
Yeah. No, I
like
that.
I feel like because of that tough division, like this is
right.
I feel like this, when looking at week 18 of all the games, like this could be a game that matters.
Yeah. No, I agree. Like you said, week 18, you never know who's going to be sitting their starters. We don't know exactly how the season's going to play out, despite the fact that we want to guess. So it's really tough for me, but sorry, I'm getting the Bears again. I think I picked the Bears more than you. I did pick against them in one game, though, the Bengals game. But the Bears against the Lions, the Bears are +1.5. They're +102 on the money line. I think the Bears win this game because the Lions have already locked the playoffs. Okay, so they got backups.
Okay.
So Lions have backups. Bears playing their starters win the game and get into the playoffs for a wild card game based off the win. So why wouldn't you take?
You're giving us an
money?
anxiety season. Like you want us to have anxiety up until the last moment.
Yeah. Apparently Jamie's saying Jadon Blue isn't good, but Jamie also did say Roshan Johnson was good. So I gotta pick on you for that one. He hasn't been yet. Nick Fortune, shocked that a must-watch game was Bears versus Packers.
Of course he was shocked.
It's one of the most storied rivalries in NFL history. And we are old-fashioned football, and maybe that's not what the old-fashioned stands for, but Bears, Packers, very old-fashioned. Biased, much must-watch games. Murr's two favorite teams for like half the season.
What?
Yeah, let's talk about all the Eagles and Bears games today. Wasn't all of them. There's a lot of them.
I'm not biased towards the Eagles, though. Like, I don't care for the Eagles. So it just worked the way it did when I picked the game.
It just worked the way it did. Yeah. So that's how we did our little season preview. I hope you enjoyed it. But we're not done yet because we got NFL news and whiskey reviews. And today we're talking a little Swear Jar whiskey. You can see it up on your screen if you're watching on YouTube. I love this bottle. Let me show it to you here, even though you just kind of saw it. If you're on YouTube, you can see Swear Jar. It's like a metal bottle. Yeah. Maybe that is glass, just dyed. I don't know. But anyways, before you take it from me and decide, it says
it's glass.
Pay up, potty mouth, and then you can assign your words here. But my complaint, unique glass, right? My complaint is this damn cork is giant.
You can see it's glass right there.
Oh, it is glass. Look at that cork. Look at the size of this hole. That's what she said. He said, I don't know. But it's very hard to pour from, in my opinion.
It's huge.
That's what she said. Not to me, but anyways, there's not a lot of information on this whiskey on their site. And I was hesitant to buy this, but it was fairly cheap at the time.
We thought it was funny.
Yeah, we thought it was funny.
Yeah,
I bought it
the 10-year, like.
Yeah, I wanted something new as far as a Canadian whiskey for.
I don't need as much as you poured. Holy crap!
The CFL. Apparently, I poured too much. I wanted something new to try on the CFL show and then talk about today. So we bought it, kind of because it was a little gimmicky. And sometimes gimmicky whiskeys, they focus a little bit more on the gimmicks. So I'm not sure what we're going to taste here, but it's made in Quebec. I can tell you that. Montreal. And it's their regular Swear Jar whiskey. This is the 10-year. They have a regular, which I believe is a 6-year. It did win gold at the 2021 Spirits competition in San Francisco and gold in 2023 at the SIP Awards. The 10-year is distilled multiple times. Nowhere does it say how many. It just says multiple times. So
2 is multiple.
2 is multiple. 8 is multiple. I doubt it's 8.
No, it's 2.
I would think it's probably 2
it's
because
probably 2.
Otherwise,
Wouldn't they say
triple distilled is popular in Irish whiskey.
But also,
you would think it would say that if it was triple distilled. Yeah. Agreed.
Because there's a quality to triple distilled.
Yeah. It's then rested in charred oak barrels. Now, another thing it did not say. Now, bourbon has to be in new American charred oak barrels. Most Canadian whiskey does not.
No, outside of the States, most whiskey is in used barrels.
Right. But it did not say used barrels. It did not specify. So good. Your guess is as good as mine. Like I said, the bottle is fun. Once it's empty, there is a spot to write your swear words. So there's $1, 50 cents, 25 cents. And once you swear enough, you can buy yourself a new bottle of whiskey. It says, So
you want the swear word, you say the most to be $1 so you can buy the whiskey faster.
Exactly. And I'm thinking, if you use that, let's say fuck a lot. I was going to say the F word, but I already said fuck. So now it would be silly to say the F word. If you use that a lot and that's your $1, I mean, you could buy a really nice bottle of whiskey once this is full, right? And I do like that. Maybe that's what the big mouth is for, so that you can get all the money out of it.
That's why.
This is all of a sudden making sense. You couldn't, a normal whiskey bottle top, you couldn't fit much change.
It would be hard to get dollars out of it.
Well, yeah, and a quarter wouldn't even fit.
No, it wouldn't. That's why it's big. That's why it's huge.
Why it's huge. Biggest I've ever seen. Let's do a little taste profile on this. I'll let you, you were supposed to be tasting it while I was talking.
Well, you distracted me.
With what?
With everything.
My good looks and charm. So I like Canadian whiskey, but it is a lighter than like a bourbon or a rye. It tends to be a little bit lighter. I was thinking
Ooh.
age 10 year, this might be different. What are you smelling? You went, ooh, like you're just
I
smelling
don't like
alcohol.
to do. Yeah, that's why.
Yeah. I took a little whiff out of the bottle earlier,
Ooh.
and it's strong. It smells like Sharpie.
Yes, like I didn't want to say that, or like
That's on
fingernail polish remover.
That's on the wheel.
It is.
I believe so. Sharpie. It's one of the smells that is picked
Okay.
up. Channing
We're
saying,
not doing a good job selling this.
yeah. Channing saying, I holla for $1, but if you're Hispanic, that's hola for $1. Hello for $1. Yeah, this smells like Sharpie.
It does.
It smells like a Sharpie marker.
Smells like just straight up alcohol, rubbing alcohol.
Yeah, which it's only 84%. So it must be blended down since it's aged for 10 years.
Try to get something else out of there. There's got to be, come on, something else.
So most Canadian whiskeys use corn as their grain, I believe.
I'm not getting corn though.
No.
Let's just try it.
Okay, just try it. You first.
Okay. It's sweet.
It is sweet. It does not taste like a Sharpie, thankfully.
No. Which is why, okay, that makes sense because not the Sharpie part. I thought this old fashioned was extremely sweet, but I know you make the old fashions the same for every show.
I do.
And I thought it was super sweet.
It's the whiskey.
This is sweet. It does not smell sugary whatsoever.
No.
If you smell this whiskey, you're not trying it.
That's fair, because you'd be like,
oh my God.
Yeah.
I don't need to drink a Sharpie.
The on the nose score is not going to be very good. I can tell you that. But there is sweetness to it. I'm not sure what the sweetness is. It's kind of like a lighter fruit.
Just sugar.
Oh, you get sugar. I have like a lighter fruit taste, I feel like.
No. Like syrup. Simple syrup.
Now you're just being racist against Canada. The maple syrup. I mean,
I didn't say maple syrup.
I know, but at first you said syrup. They're not just known for maple syrup.
No, a sugar syrup.
Yeah, I mean it is just sweet. Mm-hmm. That is mainly what I'm getting.
Yeah.
And a little bit of elderflower. I don't know why, but I'm getting a little bit of elderflower.
This packs heat. Packs a punch for not being super
84 proof. Yeah. But age 10 years, you would think it would have more spice and more
when they age it that long, they have to proof this down.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, they don't have to, but they do.
To get it to 84, they have to proof it down.
That's true. Yeah. Channing, I'm curious if you've seen this in Canada or if you have tried it. I know you said you might be sipping on some Crown Royal tonight. But I'm curious if you've seen Swear Jar out of Montreal, Quebec.
I have never, until we saw this, I had never heard of this.
Right. We found this in Omaha, Nebraska. You can go onto their website. The one thing their website does have is a store locator for where it's sold. So you can find that information. They also make a couple different whiskeys. They have a maple whiskey and a apple one. So they do have some different variations there. The maple one would probably be pretty good. I actually think it's maple donut.
Maple donut?
Yeah. Oh, she's out on the donut. She was there for the maple.
I was there for the maple. Out on the donut.
Channing has not been able to find it in where he is in Canada. So
okay.
Well, I
do feel like this, I do feel like it's more gimmicky than it is meant to be. Well, and what I don't understand is why do they age it 10 years? Because normally you age something 10 years. I guess I don't know.
Yeah, I don't believe there's rules around Canadian whiskey unless it's just the 2-year mark. But yeah, the interesting thing is let's say it was a Scotch aged 10 years, this would be a top dollar thing. So you might be thinking, 10 years, that's a top dollar thing. I believe this bottle was $26. So, Canadian whiskey does tend to be a little bit cheaper. Channing is sipping on Elbows Up right now. I have not heard of that one, but that's one we're gonna have to see if we can find so that we can sip. I feel like the biggest
one is Crown Royal is everywhere.
Right. Channing, can you get? Sorry for anybody listening, not watching on YouTube, but this is why you got to tune into the YouTube so you can interact with us. Channing, I'm curious, do you still not have American whiskey on your shelves? Because they did pull all those at one point, which was it's unfortunate for everybody. I think I touched on that already. It's unfortunate for the consumers. It's unfortunate for the distilleries that have nothing to do with this political game, really. No matter what side of the political game you're on, distillers have nothing to do with it. So why punish them, and why punish the consumers that like drinking an American product? But anyways,
it's growing on me the more I sip it.
Yeah, I mean, Canadian whiskey, I've always
I don't
thought
feel like
it's
this is a
easy
good
to drink.
representation though of like
I
don't
do
know.
like the Pendleton, I think it is.
But that is I couldn't remember.
Yeah, the Pendleton. I think we have the 10 or 12 year. I like that one a lot. I do want to try the Bareface. Still no American whiskey, Channing says. So that's unfortunate. I mean, because again, it's punishing only the consumers and the distillers. That's who you're punishing. So, but that's the game that we all have to go through, I guess. I mean, there's nothing we can do about it. Murr, do you have anything to add on NFL news, NFL schedule, or this whiskey that's growing on you?
I don't.
All right.
Do you want me to have something more?
No, I just want to make
no,
sure
like
before I cut
God,
you
no,
off.
shut up.
Yeah, I'm hungry. Let's go. No. Make sure you check out the CFL Gambling Podcast. That's what brought us to the Canadian whiskey today. Next week is June, and we're going to start high end or
top shelf.
Sorry,
we were
top
supposed
shelf.
to have. I had this idea to do top shelf May, and then have more like summer whiskeys for June. We'll do summer whiskeys in July because May was a little bit bumpy for us.
Yeah.
So
there's a lot of shit going on.
There's so much.
Yeah.
Busiest month of the year.
Yeah.
So we'll do top shelf June.
Yeah.
And we'll release that. I'll plan it out week by week. And we'll
planned
stick
it out
to it.
And the piece of paper is somewhere over there. I don't know where it is. Thank you all for joining in. Thank you, Channing. Thank you, Serial.
Yes, thank you, everybody.
Thank you to our family that's always there supporting us. Thank you, Jamie. Thank you, Nick.
And thank you to all, like the Insta was hopping tonight. So thank you, everybody.
Insta was hopping. Who was on the Insta? You're not going to read them out, huh?
I did not list them.
People
Nobody commented on Insta.
Oh, okay. They just joined.
They joined.
And if you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, thank you for tuning in. We really appreciate your support. The listeners are as much of this show as the hosts are. I feel like we depend on you guys to be successful. So please keep showing up. Leave us a 5-star review on Spotify or Apple. Comment on our YouTubes. Share it with your friends. That's a great way to tell people, hey, you got to check this out. That's a great way to help support us, and we appreciate it all because we hope that we're here for the long run because we're at episode 184. That means we're sneaking up to episode 200, and we're hoping for another 200 after that. But we can't do it without you guys, so continue to support us when you're able to, and we appreciate it. Do you have anything else you'd like to add?
No, ditto.
That's all I got. We still got to come up with a new sign-off, but for now, cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. You're cheersing an old-fashioned. I'm cheersing my drink.